So the incident happened last October, and we're only just now hearing about it now, partly because the school told the kids that they couldn't tell their parents. A parent told us the class was asked to write out who they consider a hero. One child wrote Charlie Kirk was their hero, and the guidance counselor apparently got frustrated.
First things first, anytime a teacher or a school or an administrator or any adult is telling your child to keep secrets from you, you need to pull your children from wherever they are immediately. I don't care if it's at church. I don't care if it's another family member. I don't care if it's at the Boy Scouts. Anywhere that is encouraging your child, your responsibility, your seed, they're encouraging them to keep secrets from you. Pull your kids out immediately once you find out and be aggressive and take action. That's already the first red flag instantly. And that tells me a lot about the teacher. That tells me a lot about the person that's doing that because there's a pattern. We'll get to that in a second.
Then another child wrote Donald Trump, and they got more annoyed. After that, a student wrote Jesus, and the counselor said that none of those names were allowed. Tell their parents. A parent told us the class was asked, partly because the school told the kids that they couldn't tell their parents. A parent told us the class was asked to write out who they consider a hero. One child wrote Charlie Kirk was their hero, and the guidance counselor apparently got frustrated. Then another child wrote Donald Trump, and they got more annoyed. After that, a student wrote Jesus, and the counselor said that none of those names were allowed. Later on, the school gathered the sixth graders together and apologized and asked the students not to go to their parents, but talk to the teachers first. I spoke to Alyssa Moore. Her sixth grade son wasn't present for the assignment, but was there for the apology.
They should have set the parameters before if they didn't want certain people up there. We wanted them to be re-educated on how to interact with students that you don't agree with their viewpoint.
Okay, now if you look at this teacher, what do you notice about her? She's a colored hair liberal. She is a teacher, but she's working in sync with the guidance counselor, who we can all guess is amongst the LGBTQP community as well. I'll be honest with you, people said that we're doing profiling when it comes to immigration because we're looking for how people look and their accent, and that's how we're knowing who to arrest. We're going to have to go further. There are clear signs of certain people who should never have contact with your child if you plan or if you want your child to still be your child in a few years. You don't want your child to have a teacher with colored hair. You don't want your child to have a teacher with a septum. You don't want your child to show up in the class with a BLM flag and a gay pride flag, a trans flag, because they're there to hurt your child. I do volunteer work in rescue, and I go to a lot of animal shelters. You know how surprised I was when I found out that there are people that are volunteering at these shelters, not because they love dogs and they want to help them get out. There are people who literally volunteer at animal shelters because they hate dogs and they want to see them euthanized. And when people come in and they say, hey, I'm thinking about adopting this dog, these volunteers will walk around and they'll say, you know what, maybe you shouldn't do this dog. This dog is bad. This dog, it's aggressive. It's mean. It should be put to sleep. There are people who are evil and they will lie because they want to see bad things happen. You have to understand, we're fighting an ideological war, spiritual war. There are people who are literally only getting jobs in these schools because they hate you and but they're afraid of you. So they want your children because your children are smaller, they're weaker, they're even easier targets than women. They are there because they despise you. I particularly noticed that they target white children who come from a 2-parent household. They say it's because those children are more well-rounded and more grounded in reality. So they're harder to manipulate. So that means they're harder to control. So that's why they have this thing against white children who come from conservative parents, or if your parents are, they assume every white person is a Trump supporter. So they specifically target certain people. See, they're deathly afraid of white men. So these liberals will go after children. That's why they're in this school, because they're hoping that out of, 50 kids they come in contact with, maybe they can get 10 to want to be gay and turn against their parents one day. In a way, they're trying to get these kids to join their ranks. See, when you're a part of this gay community, you can't reproduce. So the way they're able to grow their numbers is they have to take your kids because they can't reproduce their own. When you're allowing your kids to go to these schools, you have to understand we're not in Kansas anymore. This isn't when you were a child or when I was a child. Things have changed in the past 15, 20 years. You learned a lot of this during the lockdown, what these teachers were spreading and what they were saying to these kids, but it's gone a lot further. If they'll tell your kids not to tell you about an assignment where you can't even say the president's name or Charlie Kirk, or because they hate Jesus, then they also would tell your kids that don't say nothing when the janitor steps into the bathroom with you. Don't say anything when the teacher asks you to stay after class and they turn off the lights. Don't ask your kid. Don't say anything when the teacher says they want to drive you home and they take you somewhere and stop in a park. They'll go further than that with your child. They've already set the stage where they've turned them against you. Because if once your child starts keeping secrets from you to protect the teacher, you've lost your child. There is no coming back from that. One day you come home and you don't even recognize your child no more. Their hair colors change. They cut their hair off. They got all these weird piercings and they've been abused. It's trauma, but they can't talk about it because now you'll be turning against the people who, after the abuse, pretended that you're now a part of our club, our secret clique. They convince your kid who might be socially awkward, or they might used to be autistic. They convince your kid, well, maybe you're gay, maybe you're trans. Just don't tell your parents, but we're going to give you different clothes to wear at school. We're going to put you in a dress and you're a boy. We're going to put you in jeans and a jacket and you're a girl, and we're going to clap for you and we're going to pretend like we're affirming you, but they're just manipulating you. These people are sick and they are everywhere. There's so many of them. They're showing up to all these protests. They want law and order disabled because if there's no law and order, then there's nobody to arrest them when you're caught grooming children. So that's why they don't like the rule of law. It's not like they're just out these protests because they hate ICE. It's not that they just hate immigration laws. They don't like any laws. They don't like laws in period. They don't care if it's murder, if it's rape, if it's molestation. They don't want any laws, period. And the one thing that they felt like they lost when Trump became president from when Biden was president was they felt they had legal access sexually to children. And they felt like they lost that because Trump and Charlie Kirk kept bringing up how Gavin Newsom passed a bill in California, Senate Bill 145, which decriminalized pedophilia. Look it up for yourself. Charlie Kirk and Donald Trump were speaking about this when it first happened, and that bill was starting to make its way east from California. Just them speaking about it on college campuses and making a big deal about it, not only was that bill stopped in other states, but it was pretty much reversed. And even eventually in California, it's going to be overturned. That's why these people hate Trump. They hate Kirk. And naturally, they all hate Jesus. But they don't hate Muhammad. They don't hate whoever the Buddhists. They don't care about any other religion. They only hate Jesus. So you got to think about it. Your kids are interacting with these sick pedophiles that have teaching jobs. And they think about it, it's a guidance counselor too. So they're surrounded by enemies, people who want to take your kids from you. And they're with these people more than they're with you because you go to work, you have other responsibilities. And you used to think that a school was a safe place. This is why so many people are now homeschooling, which is why marriage is important. Family is important. Schools are no longer safe. Not if you love your kids. This is horrible. And this should be every parent's worst nightmare because now where are you going to go? You mean who's going to watch your kid throughout the day? Who's going to teach them? You have to work. And that's why family is so important. In America, we used to have the luxury where, you could move out of your family's home. You could afford to get your own place and then you can have a girl. The way it should have been is we all used to live in one big house. We would all be there to help each other. We're all there to help take care of kids and we're saving money. We're all paying one mortgage instead of everybody having their own individual expensive places. We're going to have to go back to that. We need stronger structures of family. These people that are manipulating these kids, that are saying these things, they want to destroy the American family, the nuclear family. They keep talking about it. Do you want your kids to be like them, or do you want your kids to be like you? And that's what you're going to have to ask yourself when making these hard decisions. Sometimes getting a divorce and separating, and then the school's going to help you by babysitting your kid all day, that's not going to be the answer if you love your kid. Not anymore.
We will continue following this story, and we'll be sure to update you as we learn more information in the coming days. In Eureka, I'm Thomas Lynch, 12 News.
And we did reach out to Marshall Elementary's principal for comment. She sent us this statement saying that the school is aware of the incident and is working with family and staff to make sure every learning activity is a positive experience.
She also adds in this, the school cannot comment on the people involved as it's committed to protecting the privacy of faculty and students.
So they're protecting groomers, they're protecting child molesters, they're protecting pedophiles who are targeting your children openly in school. That's it. That's the school's policy. We're going to protect the pedophiles. That's been the policy of a lot of churches. This isn't the first school that has this policy. These people are losing the fight against us on a political level. So now, instead of trying to, change politics, they're joining school boards and they're volunteering and they're getting jobs at schools. And your children are sponges, and that's when they're the most vulnerable. And then the teacher has control over their grades. The counselor has control over programs they can go in. And that's how your kid becomes a victim. Because there's other people with control over your child's outcome, and you're at home and you're none the wiser because it wasn't something that used to happen to you as a kid. And you're assuming, due to a normalcy bias, that things have not changed since when you were growing up. But this is a completely different world. If you want your kids to be like you when they grow up, you're going to have to homeschool them. Because if you leave them in these institutions with these sick, perverted, nasty people, your child is gone. And there's a lot of people who are dealing with that right now. Go look at the protests. Go look at this. Go look at any kids under 25. A lot of them have been manipulated. A lot of them are identifying as gay or trans. A lot of them are suicidal. A lot of them have a lot of mental issues. They're on all these medications. When you source it, you can source it back to the school. They've been with these teachers, and these teachers have been literally grooming them second, third, fourth. They're doing drag queen story hours starting for kindergartners, and the parents are not being told everything. You need to know this. You have to be more involved, but you should pop up at your kid's school. See if there's any weird flags in any of their classrooms. What color is the teacher's hair? Is this teacher gay on the outside? Because, for some reason, these gay teachers want to talk about their sex lives with your child. And you have no idea this is happening because it didn't happen to you. So you're going to have to be more active. You're going to have to be more involved. And you're going to have to protect your child more. It's going to require more micromanagement if you're going to want your child to survive and be like you. If not, you're going to lose your child. It's going to be one of them. So this is a war, and you're fighting over your child and their future. Like and subscribe, share the video. Let me know if you agree or if you have any other thoughts. I really do appreciate you all being here. We're on the road to 100,000 subscribers. A lot of people are subscribing. Our video view counts are growing. Thank you so much. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel. It pushes me into the algorithm. People shy away from these topics. I literally go head first into them, and I like to talk about them. So I appreciate the dialogue. I'm going to post this video tomorrow morning. So please, if you guys don't mind, liking and subscribing, and I'll be back with another topic in about 20 minutes. Remember, America first and America only.
I've been needing to find a new apartment, which has not been easy with credit as bad as mine. Luckily, I found cosigning.com. They connected me with a cosigner who helped me get my dream apartment for me and my dog. I just paid a small fee and was able to move in fast. Get the cosigner you need for the apartment you want. Check out cosigning.com today.